Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and of course more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Today we're talking about a great money farming method. As you reach the end game and you're starting to work on say your IV farms and other important upgrades, you're gonna need some money. A clear example of that might be the choice items like Choice Band, Specs and Scarf, which are each 100,000, along with all of the various other items you might want to give to your Pokemon. What if I told you there's a pretty straightforward and easy way to farm money in this game that uses in-game mechanics to your benefit, requiring very little input to get going, but then further, no input to continuously run. It's quite literally an AFK farm method, where you come back every 30 minutes to collect your money and then reset the method. Yep, I was shocked when I found out this was a thing, so let's go through how it's done and how it works. Let's start with the requirements, basically what you'll need to do this. Firstly, you're going to need some Pokemon of specific type, but it's not overly difficult to do. And you're going to need a tiny bit of money to sort of begin this off, because you're going to need to buy some food materials. For the Pokemon, you're going to need 2 Pokemon. This is an egg breeding method, right? So you'd think you'd want a male and a female of breeding type Pokemon. You actually don't. You can do it with Pokemon that cannot breed. So these 2 Gibble could both be male, or Pokemon in general, but they're both male. Or you could use one of your Paradox Pokemon, like the Scarlet Roaring Moon and another Pokemon that isn't a Paradox, or the Violet Iron Valiant and another Pokemon that isn't a Paradox. From there, we're going to need to go buy our items then. So we'll head to Mesa Gosa, and if I zoom in on the map, you can actually see all the different shop icons. We're going to be going here to Shawcans, and here, just below that, to the Artisan Bakery. So let's head over there. From this teleport, we are basically looking at exactly where we need to go. It's this sort of red shop window, and then that greenish shop window over there. The red one here is Shawcans, and this is where we're going to be buying just one item. We're going to be buying bananas. As you can see, it's 80 per, which is not a massive amount, and you need one of these per every 30 minutes you're going to do this method. So if you want to do this for an hour, you only need to buy 2. So buy as many as you want to with that in mind. But you'll need some money left over for the other ingredients. You'll need 1 of each. But either way, I have 15 bananas, so I'm going to match that with the other ingredients. And as we come out, we're going to turn right and head straight over to that green window over here to go to the bakery. From here, we're going to be buying 2 ingredients. We're going to need 2 types of butter. In fact, we're going to need regular butter. So I'm going to match the amount of bananas I actually have, which was 15. So we're going to get up to 15 butter. And then we're going to need peanut butter. So again, I'm going to want to match the amount that I've got, which I've got 15. This is kind of overkill though. I'm definitely not going to be doing this method for that long. You'd be completely fine with just a few of these. But once you've got your butter, peanut butter, and bananas, you're essentially good to go. One thing you want to make sure to do is to only have the 2 Pokemon that you're going to be breeding with in your party, just to make this as smooth as possible. So I've moved them all out, and my Paradox Pokemon and not a Paradox Pokemon, these are going to be the ones I use. Now we want to head to an area where it's easy to spot shinies on the ground. That will be a smooth surface, of which there are a few around the world. An obvious choice is the Acido Desert to the west. You could try it in the ice area, though it may be hard to see the shinies on the ground because it's quite bright. There's the East Province, which is sort of a muddy area, but anywhere you feel confident you can find shinies on the ground is a good place to go. Although I would generally recommend the desert as probably the best place and the easiest place. So that's where I'm going to head. You've probably seen shiny items on the ground and picked up many. They can be crafting resources or otherwise useful items that you just pick up and grab and get the benefits of. Or it can be items you can actually sell. And this is it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. A shiny item like that. And that's what you're looking for. Naturally, it's going to be easier to do this at night because it's easier to spot the shiny thing on the ground because it's darker. But you can do this in the daytime. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. Either way, when you have found a shiny item, what you want to do is make sure that you have autosave off. We can pull up the menu and go to options to do this, and then scroll down, we can find autosave and just turn that off. Then in front of the shiny item, you perform a hard save by opening the menu and hitting save. Once you've saved, you can just pick up the item. That was a potion, so that's not something we're looking for. We're ideally looking for star pieces. So I'm going to their Stardust, that's worth some money. I'm going to keep picking up pieces, and I'm going to save before I pick up each thing to make this process as smooth as possible. Another important detail that I should really mention is that you want to look for these shinies that are on flattish ground. You cannot find ones that are on slopes. It won't work because it requires specific placement of a picnic table, and that obviously won't work on a slope because you can't place them on slopes. I can find plenty of Stardust, but what I'm looking for is a star piece because that's the one that is most valuable. All right, a few minutes later, and I have fortunately found one, and I believe it's on a flat ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out, close the game, reopen it, and we'll be right back where we just saved before we picked it up. All right, so we're back in, and here is the star piece. So what we want to do is place the picnic so the basket actually lands on it. So this should be about the right distance. We open up the menu, we're going to activate the picnic, to place it down. And we want the basket at the other... Okay, I'm well off. We want the basket at the other end of the table to be on top of that shiny. So about half the distance there. This should be about right. Let's try that again. There we go. So the basket is right on top of the shiny. We can no longer see it. It's right on top of it. Now we need to make that sandwich. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to pull up the sandwich menu and we're going to go to creative mode, which you can see at the bottom right. You press X to open that up. And that's what we're going to need to use those single ingredients we bought with. So we have the banana, we have the butter, and we have the peanut butter. Awesome. And then we're going to put the flag in it to finish the sandwich off. We'll need to manually put all of this on. So we carefully drop the bananas onto the sandwich. The first time I did this weird mini game, I missed so many times. The perspective is weird. I don't know. Anyway, there's the sandwich all done. We're going to watch the world's best eating animation in the entire history of video games. Truly, they put a lot of effort into this one. And with that amazing animation done, we have our peanut butter sandwich. So what we should have is level 2 egg power. As you can see, top right there, that's what we're going for. And that's why we buy those ingredients. From here, what we want to do is just wait. This is the AFK part of the method. For the next 30 minutes, we have that level 2 buff to eggs. And roughly every 30 seconds, we're going to have a potential egg spawn in this basket. Obviously, since we're using 2 Pokemon that can't actually breed, there won't be an egg in the basket, but it'll do what we need it to. An anecdotal piece of advice, though, about this is that people seem to find that staying next to or in front of the basket, but not moving at all, seems to cause more star pieces to spawn. So that's something to keep in mind if you can. Okay, we've jumped forward a few minutes here. Let's see how many star pieces we actually have then. So we're going to look inside and there's the star piece, right? And there should be multiple. Oh, there's something else. Another one. So we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we got 9 in that little section. So apparently the amount you get varies, right? It's roughly every 30 seconds, but it can be less than that. It could be more than that, it would seem. So some goes you'll just get more, some goes you get less. And like I say, there's anecdotal advice about staying next to the basket and not moving and that causing more to spawn, but I'm not sure that's exactly real. And if we go to my bag and take a look at that section, which is this tab here, so the treasure icon, we can see that I have 19 star pieces. Very nice. We can go to any Pokemon Center to sell these, so it doesn't matter where you go. And we just go to the guy in blue, and then we choose sell. Go straight to our treasures tab, and we're gonna sell all of these star pieces. And that value is 114,000. So in very little time and not that much effort, I was able to make over 100,000 by being completely AFK. I was literally just doing other stuff on my computer while the Switch was going. You can redo this as many times as you want using that one spawn by bringing enough food to just keep making the sandwiches. It's pretty crazy that we can do this to make money using an in-game mechanic, sure, but it certainly shouldn't work like this, and yet it does. Honestly, I place the blame on the devs of the game here. There's so many things that are genuinely broken in this version of Pokemon. This is far from the only issue. Just one we can use to our benefit in-game without really doing anything too weird. Nintendo seem to acknowledge that this is fair common because they're starting to offer refunds for the game. Still, I actually think it's a fantastic Pokemon game. Probably the one I've had the most fun in years. Conceptually, it's great, and I actually really enjoyed their ending story, which I did not expect. But on the other hand, we still can't pretend this game is not riddled with issues at the same time. I see this as a flawed, fun Pokemon game, and I just make the most of it. If you guys have any extra tips to help improve this money farm, though, let us know in the comments. You might help someone. But for now, that's the video. I hope it helped. I've been Hollow, you've been you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.